and then you have to give the cows additional straw. So here we are in the straw detection point, which is outside, and we're just going to blow straw through the curtain. And that will raise this straw capacity, 34,154, 35. So this is going up, and this bale's about 11,000. So we're going to get over 40,000 litres of straw at this point. And the cows will consume this straw and turn it into manure in that pit over there. It won't turn into manure. Without the pit, it doesn't turn into manure. I think the straw stays there if you don't have a manure pit. Otherwise, there is automatically produced slurry. And slurry happens at this point here on this tank. And we currently have 235,751 litres of it. So that's going to take a while to empty. Another thing I have heard is that if the slurry tank gets full, possibly the manure pit, but I'm not entirely sure, the cows will stop producing all of the stuff they produce. If you don't empty the milk tanks, the cows will stop producing milk. But if you don't empty the slurry tanks, the cows will stop producing slurry and milk. If you let the milk tank fill up, the cows will stop producing milk and slurry, and potentially manure. But I haven't played with that yet. Now the problem with this farm is that cow shed is 1,000 cows, and we're running 60. It's going to be a long time till I exceed the amount of or the capacity of that cow shed, and I am going to need an absolute ton of milk. I'm going to need an absolute ton of food to keep 1,000 cows fed, especially since I'm using Maize Plus, and Maize Plus multiplies the amount of food that cows eat by about a factor of 10. So where a normal cow will eat 1,000 litres of food per game day, or per game month, they're eating about 10,000 litres. Which means I'm going to be very heavily overworked. But the benefit is they produce 10 times as much other stuff. 10 times as much milk. So we are making 25,000 litres of milk approximately per game day. So about 75,000 litres of milk per month, which is absolutely crazy with only 30 cows, and only half of my cows are producing milk. Let me have a look at that mod. Unfortunately, oh yes, I know of that one. I don't think I've got it activated on this game save, but I am aware of that one. And yes, so I suppose we could go over to the store and have a quick play. Let's get... Oh, actually, yeah, no, let's get... We'll get a small... What is that? That is a forage mixer. I'll lease that. So we're going to lose a little bit of money today. Horsepower on that is 90. So we need a small tractor that takes 90 horsepower. You're not on base. 95. Oh, that works. Customize, lease. Yes, okay. So let's go down to the store and jump into that tractor. Oh. No, don't do that. Jump out of that. There we go. So here's my little Isaki. So, food mixer, and this is obviously one of the smallest, but it's good enough to look at what's here. So if we go Oh, I have to stay in the cat. So looking on the left there is hay in the top row in the mixing ratio at the bottom of that panel. We've got hay, which looks like it's about 25% to 75% of the mix. Silage, the same. Straw is definitely less than 30%, 33%. So I think it's 0 to 30, and I think the mineral is about 0 to 5. So you don't have to have straw, you don't have to have mineral feed, you can do it optionally if you want to. You have to have hay because the minimum's 25%. You have to have silage because the minimum's 25%. You can load it with bales, or you can load it with a bucket. You can put in half silage and half hay. The advantage with it is you can, if you've got, I've got twice as much silage as I have hay at the moment, I can put 2/3 silage, 1/3 hay. If I've got more hay than silage, I'll put a little bit more hay in each mix for now until I get the levels about the same again. And then you fill that up. Be very careful not to overfill it. So when we go back to the mixer again, this takes a horrible number, 12,000 litres. 12,000, yeah, 12,000 litres. Yeah, 12,000 litres. So that's a horrible number of bales, especially since different bales are different capacities, especially when you go to things like bales. A silage bale is different size than that silage bale is different size than the hay. So and the price is probably indicative of how much. You've probably got 50% more hay in that than you do in that. And so the advantage with 22/19, if you grab a bale in bale forks and just dangle it over the top of a mixer, it will drain slowly into the mixer. So you can, if you know approximately I want to put 4,000 litres of hay and I've got a 6,000 litre hay bale, you can go in with the hay held just over these bars and it will slowly drain in, and you just say, okay, I'm going to take this down to about 2,000 and then back away and go and look at what the mix looks like. Took the front 3-point mod, put it on the back with the back lifter. The unrealistic big bag from 82 Studios. Oh. I'm not sure I can visualize that, but it sounds intriguing. So yes, so long as you get a perfect mix, it counts as TMR, whether it's got all the stuff. Now, because I am playing with Maize Plus, I also have fourth line down in the help panel, current recipe standard. If I press Y, it changes the recipe beef cattle. And so now I've got all sorts of different things here. This one needs, my eyeballs are bad. It has some form of silage and corn and then some other stuff. Optionally, some other stuff. Young stock needs hay, grass, straw, and then some other optional stuff. Dairy cattle need hay, grass, and optionally some other stuff. What the heck? That's pig food. So I can mix pig food with this, which base game I can't. Then we're back to standard recipe. So I'm actually liking Maize Plus for my for this playthrough, and the main reason is we will return these now. I think we're done with the demonstration. Is because of the I'm trying to learn Maize Plus anyway, and this farm I have decided is going to be a cow farm. But the idea is that we started off with about 5 cows, and so, and that's sort of a thing you can consider doing is how many fields do you need to grow cows? I don't know. Play with it and see how many you need. If the worst comes to the worst, you can always go to the store and buy bales of straw or hay that you're bales of hay or silage that you might be missing right now. But always plan ahead. I usually don't get into cows when I start the game. I usually suggest getting into cows next year. So start the game. The game starts in August. You've got a chance to harvest some stuff. So maybe harvest some arable crops that have straw. So that gives you straw planned ahead for next year. Same again for grass. Make sure you have a grass field. Maybe cut some grass, bale it up, wrap it, and leave it to ferment. That's going to be your silage. And it's going to be at least a month before that silage is available. Once you've got the silage stored up, you're probably going to want some of that other stuff, hay. So make some hay. Hay is immediate. So as soon as you've got the hay done, you can just get back into that, and it's usable immediately. Young cows don't produce grass, so what you can do is load up the cow shed with hay, and that'll make them grow up and be healthy with exactly the same health rating as TMR gives you, but it gets you started with the cows immediately. If you want the expense, you can just buy milk ready cows, which are the 12-month-old cows, and they will be producing milk as soon as you get food in their thing. I think I went for 12-month-old cows, but now that my cows have got to breeding age, they're making 0-month-old cows. Now you see, the thing here is I have one big field of grass. I'm pretty certain I could feed all the cows I have, all the silage I need, if I was playing base game, with one cut, and that would be perfectly sufficient for the entire year. And then I can cut the second cut as hay, and that will last me a year. And the third cut, I can wrap it and sell to the BGA and have some cash. You're going to get 3, 4, maybe 5 cuts of grass, and depending on how big your field is, will determine how many cows you can support. But I always suggest start small. If you've got a field that will support 45 cows, start with 10, start with 20, see how you get on and how short or how much extra you have. And then, you can save money by letting them breed. With Maize Plus, they are going to produce ungodly amounts of milk and natural fertilizer product. And so you don't want what's happening to run away from you, which is why I'm taking this so slowly. We will, as I said, this farm will support 1,000 cows, but I don't think my farming abilities will let me go that far. Just saying. I'm going to get overstretched and just not be able to feed them all. But don't necessarily be afraid of buying hay and silage. Just be careful, because you don't want to spend all your money on that unless you have an alternate form of income. So we do have arable farming here. I can just sell the arable crops and make food for. Let me start with 3. I'm going to have wheat in 1, silage 1 with hay. Yeah, wheat would go to the chickens. Yes. Hay and silage for cows. Sell the eggs, some milk. Yeah, and that would work. What was I thinking? I mean, as I said, you're probably going to end up with way more grass product than the cows will actually eat. But that's okay. That can supplement your income. If you didn't want to go with chickens, you could save money by not having a harvester and use a mower. In base game, if you mow wheat, barley, oats, it will just create straw, and then you can just use the straw to make straw bales, and that is a valid option. It's something I did when I was testing out the various, if I feed the cows grass, if I feed them hay, if I feed them TMR, and all I did was I grew a field of wheat and mowed it to create straw, because I wanted to see with the straw. But I didn't want to be hassled with, now I've got to find somewhere to sell the wheat and all the things like that. One thing I have found out in actually this week, someone ran a test on how profitable are chickens with Maize Plus. Not. Chickens do not make you any money with Maize Plus. Whether you grow your own wheat or buy your own wheat, you would make more money selling the wheat than you would growing the chickens and selling the eggs. So, Maize Plus and chickens is not a thing. Base game and chickens is a very good thing. And the reason for that is Maize Plus increases the amount of food animals eat. All the animals, sheep, horses, pigs, cows, but it only improves It only improves the production of cows. It doesn't. Obviously, pigs don't produce anything. Horses don't produce anything. Chickens produce eggs, but they don't produce any extra eggs if you have Maize Plus running. So. The only reason to run Maize Plus really is if you want to run a cow farm and you just want lots and lots of income. Turn that off, and jump into that. Okay. But you've got to remember here, my experiences with cows are quite limited, base game. I'm really playing, this is where I'm really doing the cow thing. I do not use pumps and hoses. I kind of considered it, but I don't know, I'd have to pay for it, and you still have to cart the manure to the field. I mean, obviously I could use pumps and hoses on this field quite easily, but going up to the 2 fields that we fertilized earlier today, I'd need a lot of auxiliary equipment to start shipping manure around in, right? But It is what it is. And what was the one that, was it Wopster or GTX did in Farm Sim 19? I did use the slurry hose system. And while I thought it was a really great system, I did find it to be a little bit frustrating at times. How do you get slurry? You have a cow, the cow produces slurry. Or you feed the cow produces slurry. Slurry just happens. Manure only happens if you have a manure pit. So you could start out cows early on and then consider a manure pit later. You don't have to have it at the get-go. And yeah, you can... I think part of the problem with this map is having the area to put auxiliary slurry tanks around. I really need a manure truck because that pile's getting big. So yeah, manure needs straw and a manure pit. Slurry just happens and is part of the cow shed storage facilities along with the milk production. You don't have to give straw for slurry. So that's a good thing. And we're going to have to go back down the other end anyway, but I think we'll jump into this guy first. Grab some more bales. And then, as I said, the other thing to be aware of, straw gives manure in the base game, yes, but only if you have a manure pit within sort of detection range of the cow shed. And I don't think I've seen anybody testing how far away can I put a manure pit from the cow shed for it to be not seen. But on this farm, on this map, there is a manure pit over by that pig shed, because pigs also produce manure if you give them straw. Now, that manure pit has some manure in it, so I'm guessing that manure pit is also in range of the cow shed, because we've never had pigs on this farm. So I don't know what's going to happen when the manure pit gets full, but I might do that as a thing. Right, and that's the thing. A lot of American maps do have more space around them, and that is Elms 222222. Welcome and thanks for the follow. Oh, come on, fill up already. There we go. And straw gives manure in base game. Yeah, straw gives manure in base game. Aha! I am from the UK, but I don't live there anymore. But I do generally play UK maps on Farm Sim. Saturday is my streaming day. US time, 9 o'clock in the morning, East Coast. Typically, although during winter I get up earlier because the fish get up at the same time they normally do, which happens to be earlier if you follow human time conventions. Oh yes, this is a good sized field. There's actually two good... that's a big field as well, which I think it started life as grass and I just carved it up and planted it as arable because it's good. There's a field north of that hedgerow, which is the same size as this field. So this is actually a good farmyard on Maypole to consider having as a cow farm because it has access to 3 very big grass fields at the start. Or easy access, should I say. I think they're the biggest grass fields on the map. As I said, I converted one arable because it's got better soil than this one. This is just, what is it? This is clay. The other field to the north of here is clay. So they're not the best. They're not the best yield, but they're still sufficient yield for all the cows. Oh, we're going to have sad story time. Okay. Is it as bad as the fish story last week? Yeah, cows are definitely a career choice in Farm Sim. They do take a lot of looking after, but they do make a good amount of money as well. So, you know, it's not all bad. Is that uncooked grass or? Yeah, that's uncooked. Well, whatever. Unmowed. And with, yeah, that boss is calling. Huh. That can be bad or good. There's a patch of grass behind that bale, and then we're looking at pretty much getting to the end of this field at last. I will collect and wrap these off camera because we're using an extractor. It's not exactly the most thrilling of tasks when it comes to wrapping bales, but we use the extractor because it can wrap the biggest of bales and so takes less to transport bales around. Just what it is. Okay, the Massey is that way. So yeah, I think we've mostly covered cows, and if you watch the series, you will see how the cows are getting on. As I said, obviously I'm using Maize Plus, so there are some fairly significant differences. We're already up to a tanker load of milk. I emptied that last night, game time. So we're already a full truck of milk ready to, actually it was probably yesterday morning. So March 3rd morning after I woke up, game time, I had 25,000 litres of milk. I shipped it all to the dairy, and we now have 25,000 litres of milk. Netherlands are beating the USA. Oh well. And as I was saying, 25,000 litres of milk. Our truck takes 25,000 litres of milk. I'm thinking if we go there, milk sales a separate thing. Yes. We are making about 35,000 from that much milk. And as I said, we have 15 underage cows, 2 months old. 15 at 29 months, so they're maximum production. 10 at 4 months, so they're not producing any milk.